here to fight, no bluffing, no running. Rock and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing, no second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. We don't back down, we stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. Where the strong survive, we're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite, and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite, and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just cold hard truth. We're the ones who fight, and we're ready for you. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. No running, no bluffing, no running. No running, no running, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. No second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who fight, and we're ready for you. When the truth's our ammo, we're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. Rock and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing, no second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. ground, in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. This is the doghouse. Time to face the sound. Where the strong survive, we're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite, and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise, no filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite, and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just the cold hard truth. We're the ones who fight, and we're ready for you. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No bluffing, no running. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No bluffing, no running. No running, no bluffing, no running. No running, no running, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground. In the doghouse where the real are found. No change, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. No second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just the cold hard truth. We're the ones who fight, and we're ready for you. When the truth's our ammo, we're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. Lock and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight, no bluffing, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No change, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. No second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound.
Ready to rumble. What is going on, guys? It is your boy, the Doghouse Show. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. So this week's been pretty crazy. I was just chugging down food. So if I get the hiccups, that's why. And I'm burping like crazy, man. So welcome in, guys. It's been a pretty crazy week. We have seen all sorts of stuff going on over the past 2 days and even the past weekend. So that's been pretty exciting stuff. What else have we had? We have had some Mark Robinson drama. That's been going on. We've seen some Trump drama like normal. We're going to cover some of that today too. Oh man, that one little hair sticking up, ain't it? We've had some Trump drama. What else have we had? We've had some Vance drama. We've had all sorts of drama. But we're going to be covering quite a bit of stuff today. And I wanted to really wait and see, get a little more people in here. We'll start covering some things. A lot of stuff I want to get off my chest. I want to cover some of the news. I'll even bring in some people if they want to come in and call in or do whatever they want to do. They're more than welcome to come to Discord. I've noticed a lot of Twitter trolls. If you're watching this on Twitter and you're one of those trolls, just know I do pay attention to some of those comments. Maybe not all of them, but I do. And you're more than welcome to come on into the Discord and we can certainly talk about it. So anybody who wants to do a call in, more than welcome to come in there as well. All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead. I just need to do a quick. Okay. Apparently left my phone out of here. That's okay. I was going to do a quick visual check. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's jump straight into our first story. And that is that I want to talk about. So one of the videos that have been popping off on YouTube lately has been why I left the right. Okay. And a lot of people looked at that, and I don't think that even I was honestly fully detailed in why I left that. And what we'll do is at the end of this stories of all these recent events, I will go through and I will look at each person's policy in detail. Now, there are some things that Kamala Harris has mentioned on the campaign trail that are not in her policy per se. Likewise, there are several of Trump's policies, and this is a key issue I have with Trump more so than Kamala, is that because he's kind of firing from the hip on a lot of these policies or a lot of these speeches, I kind of have to go off of what I have. And I also find that a lot of what he does is he ends up trying to say something one way and then it just comes off a whole nother way. He starts to talk about tariffs and he talks about 200% tariffs. This is my main issue when a lot of people are like, oh, doghouse, the tariffs from 2018, they're so bad. I get it. What you're trying to tell me is that the tariffs from 2018 or 16 or whatever the hell they were from didn't do much. First of all, these were steel tariffs. And yes, it did do something bad because like you said and have admitted, Biden ended up carrying those tariffs. Again, not a fan of those either. Okay. I will show you guys what the steel tariffs look like. But one of the biggest things is why I left the right or left MAGA was because of the cult-like behavior. That is primarily why I left. And we're going to see a few of those examples right now as I start to get into this stuff. It's pretty freaking embarrassing. All right. So let's go ahead and watch just a few of these clips now and watch how silly they sound.
Taylor Swift.
I can't stand her. I think she should just mind her own business and sing songs.
What do you think about Kid Rock?
I like Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a great American.
Kid Rock has a song where he says "F you" to AOC and Nancy Pelosi.
Well, I wish more people would sing that song.
But he's not minding his own business.
Yeah, but they're assholes.
What do you think?
Again, guys, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? It's like this idea that as long as you root for my guy, that's it. That's all it takes to be a MAGA person. That's it. It doesn't take critical thinking. All it takes is to sit there and say, oh, yeah, this guy supports I support him. There's no critical thinking. There's no consistent principles. And things get a little bit more weird. They get a little more weird than this. Listen to this. And guys, just so we're aware, I'm not a huge fan of what's about to be said. Okay, and I'll get into it why. Let's go ahead and listen to what this woman has to say about Donald Trump.
Story of your daughter?
Yes, I'm sorry. The last thing I wanted to say is my hardest job is not running 3 businesses. It's actually being a mom to a daughter.
To that extent, being a mother is definitely hard. Running 3 businesses depends on the business, right? I mean, if they're small businesses, probably not that crazy. If they're larger, and then 3 businesses, I think we're starting to inch into that territory where that's probably a little bit harder than being a mother. But I'm not downplaying it. Being a mother is definitely super tough. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, and I know she is an amazing woman.
Daughter that is here with me today, Caroline Ray. She's 16 years old. I'm right there. Would you just raise your hand, honey, so that Mr. President can see? She's right there. She is not in school today, and she asked that she could be here and she could see you. I'm doing everything that I can.
I want to say this too. Okay, look, you may look at me and go, doghouse, doghouse, doghouse. You got to be calm. No, I'm not going to calm down. Okay, let me explain something. I have seen way too many soccer moms, football moms, baseball moms, cheer moms, you name them moms. And how many of those moms do you know go, well, my daughter wanted to be here. My son wanted to be at this game. Or are they living vicariously through their child? Let's continue to listen.
And to try to give her the truth every day. And I just wanted to say, and I told you that 8 years ago when you were running, and she was just 8 years old then, every night she would go to bed and I would kneel on the floor next to her bed and we
8 years old, you would kneel on the bed and do what?
would pray every single
Pray.
night for you.
Every
And
single
every night.
For you. Every single night. Guys, when I hear that the left is indoctrinating children, okay, how is this not indoctrination? The child is 8 years old. Is that not the same thing that we have heard from the right? We have heard from the right that the left is trying to indoctrinate their children. They're too young to do this, this, and this, and that. You fill in the blank. But how is this not indoctrination? The child is 8 years old and you're kneeling down and praying for Donald Trump every single night. Mind you guys, this is not like in the past 6 months. This is something she was saying 8 years ago. So this has nothing to do with what happened in June or July. This is 8 years ago. Now, let's continue to listen.
She would speak out to God and she would say, "Dear God, please let Mr. Trump win, please." And
apparently her daughter said, "Please, Mr. Trump, let Mr. Trump win. Please let Mr. Trump win." X for doubt?
the night of the election, of course, she had to go to bed early because she was in school. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, when we finally knew that you had won, I went into her bedroom. I scooped her up out of her sound sleep, and I was literally tears pouring down. And
listen to this. 2 o'clock in the morning, you know that you put so let's dissect this just a little bit. You put her down to sleep at what was it, 8 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever it was. And then you scooped her up at 2 a.m. So apparently school was not that important if you woke her up with tears down your eyes? What?
And I said, baby, Mr. Trump won, baby.
Mr. Trump won, baby. Mr. Trump won. Thank God, our Lord and Savior. Our Lord and Savior. Oh, shoot.
Won.
Uh-oh. Crap. Ah! I hit the sound. What the hell? Hold on, guys. That's what I get. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. I have desktop speakers. Okay, they're like really nice speakers. And you know when you kind of plug in that MP3 line into your speakers and then you like touch it and it goes like that. Well, I guess when I banged my table, that must have hit something down there. So that's what happened. But anyways, let's continue. That was such a good part too. But anyways, we'll go ahead and continue. But yeah, let's rewind it just a little bit here.
He won. It was literally tears pouring down. And I said, baby, Mr. Trump won, baby. He won. He won. And she said, thank you, God. Thank you.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Miss April, you're 100% correct. That is a bit much. And some of these people act like he's some king or of God. This is why I left the right. Now, Fabian Liberty ended up posting something about this and said, oh, well, look at what the left does. Yeah, you know what, though? I did see my fair share of leftists who were sitting there during when Trump or when Hillary lost. There's the infamous meme. They were crying and stuff like that. That's not okay either. But this is kind of strange. I did see people upset, and I've seen a lot of people ask me, well, Doghouse, what about when, you know, someone cries on a politician's shoulder? This is more than that. This is far more than that. Far more. Oh, I agree. I find a lot of value of questionable value. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I ain't leaving the right, just trying to change it back to what it once was. And that's kind of it, ain't it, Miss April? Ain't that kind of what it is? The idea is that what was the right wing, what was Republican, what was Mitt Romney, what was Paul Ryan, what was fill in the blank, Ron Paul, those days are gone. And I think it says a lot, and we might get into this. I don't know if I have something saved or not, but when you look at what's happening with those conservatives, because they speak up against Donald Trump, they're labeled rhinos. And someone in my comments made a very good point. Basically, if you were a Republican prior to 2016, you are a rhino. What does that say? Who's the real rhino if everyone prior to 2016 Republicans are now rhinos? Maybe you're the rhino. Maybe you, Donald Trump, are the rhino. Now, don't get it twisted. Just because Donald Trump is a rhino, and I might start using that. I might start using that because there's certain things I know that like you kind of stir the pot a little bit with MAGA. Some of those being, for example, if you say Coach Walz, you mentioned the economy is doing good, which it is, in which I will defend that Tim Walz is a coach. Okay. Whether he's an assistant coach or not, doesn't matter. I'll still call him a coach. And this is the other thing too, is maybe I'll start calling Trump a rhino. Why? Because it is kind of true. If you were a Republican prior to 2016, you find that they are labeled a rhino. So maybe you're the rhino. Maybe you're the Republican name only. But don't get it twisted. It doesn't mean that he's left. It just means he's right wing and he's on his own island in the Republican Party. I've been a Republican since 1990, so yeah, I'm an old Republican. Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, but remember, and listen, I'm not immune from this, right? I voted for Trump in 16. I voted for, Ted Cruz in 18. I voted for Trump in 20. I voted for Romney in 13 or 12. I may very well not even vote for Cruz this election. I might actually go full tilt Democrat. I might vote for Colin Allred and might even vote for, I won't. I am going to vote for Kamala Harris. I have no problem saying that. And what has been seen is that a lot of people are very upset with how I have left that party. It's pretty sad, but that's kind of what's going on. Is the moment you step up against their Lord and Savior, all of a sudden you are no longer Republican. Let's see. I believe I have another one lined up here. So on that note, let's go ahead and watch this. This is an ad that was released by the Lincoln Project. And listen, if you're a Sam Elliott fan, if you love any of Sam Elliott's stuff, you're going to love this. This is an ad by Kamala Harris from the Lincoln Project. Let's go ahead and watch this. This is actually, I loved it. I really did.
Again. So here we go. I can't believe we're having this conversation again. So here we go. You know who the candidates are. You know what's at stake. One candidate promises a divided America filled with lies and hate. And one stands for change. Kamala Harris has more courage, more honor, more guts than this guy ever had. So you decide, are we really going back down that same fucking broken road, or are we moving forward towards hope, towards freedom, towards change?
We know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success.
There's promise that lies in change, and the time for change is now. So what the hell are you waiting for? Because if it's the woman thing, it's time to get over that. It's time for hope, for change. It's time to be a man and vote for a woman.
Yeah, guys, I don't know about you. After watching that, I was like, I kind of got a little bit of chills. I was like, oh, wow. That was, I don't know. For me, it was pretty impactful. Miss Mandy, what's going on? Yeah, you just promoted this on TikTok. Exactly. It's insane. I was like, this is how ads should be. Because it's spot on. Look, I'll tell you guys, do I think Kamala Harris is perfect? No, I don't think that Kamala Harris is perfect. Okay. But I think she is a far better, far more normal choice than Donald Trump. Let's just assume for the sake of argument that she does flip-flop her positions. Let's assume that's the case. Okay. That was how it was prior to 2016. You just had politicians who would kind of shift their positions a little bit to get more electable. I see nothing wrong with that. And to be honest with you, let's say it this way, right? When we look at Donald Trump, the argument is he is who he says he is. Well, that's perfectly fine, except he is who he says he is being a far right authoritarian. So, if I had a decision between a far right authoritarian versus someone who kind of flip flops, maybe not the best, assuming this, we're assuming this position here, which I think Kamala Harris is actually more consistent than most people give her. But let's just say, assume for argument, I would rather take the person who flip flops a little bit. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. So then the next video we have here is similar to that farmer thing that we saw. This is when we start to get into a little bit of the economic talk a little bit. By the way, guys, I want to do a huge shout out. Miss Mandy is in chat on our YouTube stream. I want anybody who isn't following Miss Mandy Reacts, please go give her a follow. She does a lot of like soft sit things, a lot of body cam, a lot of, I guess you would say law enforcement videos and stuff like that. So pretty cool person on YouTube. Definitely give her a check out on that. Do you think Kamala's economic policies are good or just less worse than Trump? No. So look, Bob Marley, welcome in, by the way. I think that Kamala Harris's economic policies, and we'll kind of go through some of those things. I didn't list them out, so we're going to work through this a little bit, but we can look at things like the child tax credit. I think that's great. Because I just learned recently that one of her policies is to try to get rid of or put a cap on daycare costs rising. So kind of similar to her price gouging laws, but I believe they put a number on it. I'd have to look at it, but what it is they said about 7% increase. So once you go over that 7% threshold, I'm assuming it's going to be the same situation as the price gouging, right? It's not a price cap like some people think. It is price gouging, which means that, look, you can't go raising your prices over 8% year over year. So on that note, I think that's a really good thing. From the economic policies, they implemented the Inflation Reduction Act right as the peak of the inflation was at about 9%. After that Inflation Reduction Act was brought in, it reduced the inflation month over month down to about 2.5%, which is where we're at now. And we'll get into some of the stocks and stuff like that here in a minute. I feel like we're kind of leaning into that a bit. So, and we're about to get to this with some of the tariff talk by Donald Trump. But yes, I do think that Kamala Harris's economic policies are good, generally speaking. I'm not a huge fan of uncapitalized unrealized gains and loss taxes. Not a huge fan of that, to be honest with you. But again, am I going to get a perfect candidate? No. Anybody who suggests they have a perfect candidate needs to be reevaluated. For example, anybody who looks at Trump and goes, he's the perfect candidate, I love all of his policies, is probably a sign of the cult-like behavior. And I won't take part of that on the left either. I do think there are some things. For example, the assault weapons ban. This is something that Kamala Harris, there's a lot of, I saw this going on Twitter. The assault weapons ban of 2019 that Kamala Harris co-sponsored, that I have literally read dozens of times now at this point, it feels like since 2019, will not take away your guns. It grandfathers in anything prior to the enactment of the bill. So will it take away guns? No. Will it ban further sales of assault weapons? Okay. Yes. But, and I have my criticisms of the bill. Do I think it's going to get passed? I think the only way it gets passed is if there is a strong Dem majority in both the House and the Senate, more than likely, which you're going to have. And this is why some people need to keep this in their framework, because a lot of people sit there and go, oh, these bills are so bad. They're this, they're this, they're there, they're this and that. We'll get into this about Trump's 15% cut to in corporate tax rates. He wants to drop corporate tax rates to 15%. The problem with it is he may have a split Congress. What does that mean? He's not going to get 15%. It's the same thing with assault weapons ban. She might be able to pass gun legislation, which is great. Do I think she's going to get the assault weapons ban? No. Why? Because I think that Congress is going to be split. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. We're going to have a pretty split Congress. We're not going to have a blue wave. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. And so when we go back to, do I think, Kamala Harris's policies are good? I generally think they're pretty good. There are some that are like, I'm not so sure about that. But I know, and this is why I'm okay with it, that should I elect her in, right, the assault weapons ban probably won't get passed. And even if it did, guess what? You can bring in a Republican, and Republican will just overturn it. Okay, it's not like it'd be there forever. If that were the case, and I don't even see that happening. Yeah, tax credits are basically tax cuts without buzzword cut. Should be really popular among Republicans. It should be, Bob Marley. And I've been saying this for years. I've said, look, if you want to appeal to moderates and appeal to the left, I said this. Okay, I said this. I said you would advocate for tax cuts as a way to means test certain things, right? So in the case of, let's say, buying a home, right? Or let's say that you are struggling, you don't have enough money. Well, maybe give a tax cut for that. You know, we do this all the time with education, with childcare, with dependent, all these different things. So that's kind of my thing, right? It's just appeal tax cuts or tax deductions or tax credits, however you want to call it. Miss Mandy, you're more than welcome to come on at any point at any time. I don't know if I have my Discord link in my bio or anything like that on YouTube. You may have to go over to Twitch. Let me go ahead and copy this for anybody who doesn't have it. I do see that our friend the dog bot went ahead and posted that. There's our Discord link. That is where I am at. And you know, anybody's feel free to jump in. We are going to be doing call-ins a little bit later in the show. I want to get through some of these news stories first, and then we'll do some call-ins at the end of it all. But yeah, just join that and that'll be great. So I need to buy my arsenal before that bill passes. Yeah, pretty much, Miss April. And that's why I said is I think even from a pragmatic perspective, even if the assault weapons ban, you know, even if the assault weapons ban was passed, I think the thing about it is that it's not going to be the super most pragmatic solution to gun violence or anything like that. Why? Because I think that there's already a million things in circulation right now, and I just don't see that actually fixing anything. Haven't been following U.S. politics lately, so don't have much to say on this. It's okay, Mark. Hey, listen, I'm here to help you get involved with U.S. politics. I actually went out a couple of weekends ago over to the Texas Tribune Festival. I got to see a bunch of different politicians. I got to interview the mayor of McAllen, Texas, only to realize that my video was cut out. Yay. So that happened. And I got to interview a few other people. I actually interviewed a professor on the street. I recommend everybody, you know, if you're not involved, get out there, get involved, and, you know, meet with people. Go to a rally, go to a political event. And look, it doesn't even have to be a leftist. It doesn't have to be a Democrat thing. If the nearest one to you is a Republican thing, go to a Republican one. I'm not saying, I want to make this clear. I may say that MAGA is a cult, and it is. Okay, I believe that through and through. But I'm not going to sit there and discourage somebody who maybe their only event that they have happening near them is an event that is surrounded by MAGA, right? Go to it then. See what they're saying. You decide for yourself. Don't let me as the online influencer try to influence you to believe that something one way or the other. I'm going to try to do what I can to help convince you, you know. But yeah. Major Swifty said wild. Okay. How are Kamala's economic policies good though? They are not, like lowering groceries or lower housing costs. Yeah, but we want to know, we want that now, not 6 months from now. Plus, okay, cool. Lowering the cost of things. Okay, cool. But how? She's all talking to a plan. Well, okay. We'll get into this. I promise you, we're going to get in this. Stick by. We will get into this. Okay, Horde. The thing about it is first of all, if you expect her to lay out point by point by point by point every single detail of the bill, that's not going to happen for either candidate. Okay. And in fact, I would argue that Donald Trump's plan, at least on paper, is pretty broad in and of itself. Okay. I've seen things about how is Trump going to make America great again through his policies, and it's pretty broad as well. We'll get into each individual policy. I promise that is something I really want to do. Thing with lower prices is there isn't an instant magical button for. Yes, Bob Marley, this is exactly the issue, right? This is my main issue that a lot of people don't understand is that in inflation, why do you think we never see 99-cent gas prices? Why do you think we never see that again? That is because inflation exists. Deflation, we don't like that, okay? It can be good in certain small microscopic examples, but more times than not, it's good to have a healthy balance of inflation. So the goal of trying to bring down inflation is not to try to necessarily bring down prices. Those days are long gone. There's going to be a certain threshold, right? So for example, we may see, prices go where, I think it was like 9% was the top. And I explained this in my last stream, but I'll explain it now. Is that what you have is eggs that were $3 going up to $5, okay, from year over year. Okay, or whatever. I'm just using a crazy example, but you get what I'm saying. When it's a $5. Now, with it going down to 2.5%, it may only go up by 10 cents. So what does that do? Is by bringing inflation down, we are hoping to bring wages to go get over that inflation, right? Wages exceed, you've probably heard this before about wages exceeding inflation. And that's exactly what's trying to happen. Is you're trying to bring inflation down so that you have a chance to help bring people's wages up to overcome that inflation percentage going up. Probably a convoluted way of me trying to say that, but I think you get the gist of it. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is the days of prices being high are just here. Donald Trump trying to sell you a false bill of goods saying that prices are going to go down back to where they were when he was president isn't true. It isn't going to happen. They're not going to come back down to there. Prices that are here now are about going to stay. Okay. They may go down by $1. Great. If that. Okay. They go any further than $1, we might be entering deflation, which is a really bad place to be in. Price ceilings won't do anything. The tax credit for first-time homebuyers will probably just drive prices up. It depends, Major Swifty. So this is the problem, is it just depends on how it's implemented. You know what I mean? So it just really depends, because the way she's explaining it is that she's trying to say $25,000 for first-time home buyers. Like I said earlier, there's probably going to be some stipulations brought into that. We've seen where, for example, they did the infrastructure, the broadband network bill, and I think there was a lot of people that used it. So don't believe the lies that there's nobody that used it. People did use it, but it was not as widespread as people had thought it was going to be used. And so it's the same thing here with the first-time home buyer thing. I think it's going to be a very small scratch on the surface. It's not going to do too much. Child tax credit, if it got passed right away, it would instantly help children out of poverty. It can. I think it can. It's going to put a lot more people. But the thing about it is, what I would like to see from them is what they did in 2021, which is when they implemented I believe it was the American Rescue Plan, and they did the child tax credits. They did it in advance of it. So if you were going to get at the end of the year, if you were going to get, like, say, you had 2 children and you were going to qualify for $3,600 back on that credit, they were going to advance you some of that credit. I would love to see something like that. The problem with a lot of these tax credits are they're not really felt in the immediate. They're felt when it comes to tax filing. So that's the problem with it. Only way it could really happen would be an insane strength US dollar compared to all these countries importing their food. Yeah, and we're going to get into tariffs too, Mark. What price ceiling is Kamala doing? Trump wants a price ceiling on credit card interest. I think that's right. Yeah. I forgot. You're right. You're right about that, Bob Marley. I forgot about that. Yeah. Trump wanted to implement some price ceilings on interest, credit card interest. Yeah. When it says 36%. Yeah. Trump wants 10%. So he might be wanting to lower it. I don't know about where it currently sits. But let's get moving with this one real quick. This is the U.S. farmers. So Trump, he's saying that nobody's done for farmers what he has done. So let's watch this.
Thank you very much.
It is just blurry. I'm sorry.
It's an honor to be with you and a special group of people, the farmers. Nobody's done for farmers what I've done.
He's saying he's never done what, he's done most for farmers. Here's Statista saying U.S. farmers lost billions to Trump-era retaliatory tariffs. And I happen to have that up right here. It looks like due to the Trump-era retaliatory tariffs on China, export losses mid-2018 to end of 2019 due to retaliatory tariffs. It looks like they lost almost $25.7 billion on these tariffs. So there's that. And here is a reporter. You can't handle the truth. Cool Vibing Gamer, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate the follow. Thank you so much. So here is this reporter asking about these tariffs.
Approve it. They'll approve. And number one, I don't need them. I don't need Congress, but they'll approve it. I'll have the right to impose them myself if they don't. I'd rather get theirs.
Oh, I didn't start it earlier.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Taylor Poplar from Spectrum News. I've spoken with some economists about your proposal for tariffs, and they say they don't see how it will not make items cost more in the United States.
Oh, they'll approve it. They'll approve. And number one, I don't need them. I don't need Congress, but they'll approve it. I have the right to impose them myself if they don't. I'd rather get their support. The ones that understand business all support it. I think David would be a very big supporter of the tariffs because you understand what's happening, right? David's a great business person, led a great company. No, the ones that understand business, they understand. You know,
You talk about a word salad. I'm almost certain, though I could be wrong on this, that Congress does have to pass tariff. Let's see. Does Congress unilaterally impose tariffs? There you go. Just trying to figure out the wording for it. What up, Jaeger? Or Jaeger? All right, appreciate it, Tron. Appreciate you coming here, buddy. Well, the U.S. Constitution grants to Congress the power to levy tariffs on goods. Congress has delegated some of that power to the executive branch over time. The U.S. Constitution states in Article 1, Section 8, that Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Congress passed general tariff legislation until the early 1930s. However, in a move to grant more flexibility to presidents to revitalize global trade in the midst of the Great Depression, Congress gave the executive branch the power to negotiate tariff reductions within levels pre-approved by Congress through the Reciprocal Trade Agreement of 1934. President Franklin D. Roosevelt became the first president to have the authority to levy tariffs and negotiate bilateral trade agreements without the approval of Congress. The executive branch has continued to exercise a level of authority over tariffs over the past few decades. In 1962, President Kennedy signed into law the Trade Expansion Act, which allowed the president to address tariffs based on threats to national security under Section 232. This is the authority under which President Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum, which have a vast impact on some of the United States' biggest trading partners in many U.S. industries. So it looks like, I'm looking here. It looks like it basically just says it depends. Pretty much, right? In other words, Congress should technically be doing this, but because of so many presidents before us, kind of expanding that, that's what happens. You say if Trump gets into office again, prices of things won't go back to what they were during his previous term. What if the pipeline is open back up? What is that? What if he does that? Well, if he opens up the pipeline, if I'm assuming what you're talking about is like oil, which is what he's trying to say.
I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing.
Hey, lecture fan, my buddy. Listen, all right. I've done some thinking. Okay. I probably struck a little too low. I know that we didn't end on the best of terms. And I think that was a little low. I admit it was a little bit of a cheap shot. So I want to appreciate everybody coming here. By the way, lecture fan, thank you for coming in, buddy. I want to publicly apologize, okay, for levying that low blow. He knows what I'm talking about. But lecture fan's a good conservative. We have some fun. But yeah. I got a little crazy on Twitter. I was like, I'll admit, look, I'll be honest. I was like sitting there, lecture fan. I was like, man, I don't know. This is probably not a good tweet. And I tweeted it. And I did some thinking on it. Not so great. So I want to apologize. Just so you can put it up on YouTube. Hey, lecture fan, need more content. Yeah, right. Look, let me tell you something. All right, y'all. My YouTube is absolutely so hard to get up to 5. Guys, I'm at like 78 subscribers on YouTube. Okay. I should have way more. Than that. But it has been incredibly difficult. Finally, I'm not monetized on YouTube. Yeah, I am struggling. I'm on the struggle bus right now. It is so hard. Like I'm up, but I'll tell you what, I'm uploading daily. And I'm trying to get into the rhythm where I'm uploading more like, you know, current events. My buddy Redtron he was in the YouTube chat. And I'm putting him to work. We're over there trying to push out videos, and even during these live streams, trying to get content out of these live streams. And right now it's just so hard because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but there's also not a lot at the same time. Because it's one of those, like, you get like little 2-minute pieces of things. But anyways, yeah, we definitely should have a debate sometime, or just, you know, come on my stream or whatever. You're more than welcome to. This is a good time right here, guys, as well, since I'm on this topic. If you aren't hitting that like, if you're on YouTube and you haven't hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, please make sure you hit that. If you're on Twitter and you're watching this on Twitter, please make sure you like this post and then go to my Twitter and hit that follow button. We're almost to 500 on Twitter, guys. Guys, that's a huge number for me, okay? Why? Because I feel like I did something, okay? Look, there's not a lot of people that can get to 500 in 2-3 years, all right? I'm doing it in 1 month. Guys, we've been on Twitter for 1 month and we're already up to almost 500 followers. On TikTok, we're absolutely doing crazy. We're at 1,200 followers. So it's amazing. So if you guys are watching on any of these platforms, please make sure to follow me. And if you can subscribe, you want to subscribe on Twitch and throw a little bit of moolah at me, feel free to do that. All right. There's like, I got to do this somehow. But I'm sorry, Horrid7, to answer your question before Lecture Fan rated us. Thank you so much, Lecture Fan, by the way. If the pipeline is reopened, we already have record producing oil. I'll pull this up right now. Let me pull it up from our thing here. Oil production is already at record highs. This is another point of why I've said that I believe that Kamala Harris and the Biden administration are doing amazing with the economy on all fronts. Oil production, United States. Let me see here. Matter of fact, I believe we just became like the first net exporter? U.S. field production of crude oil. Here you go. Look, I'm going to show you this. This is, let me try to break it out a little bit here. Here we go. Oh man, this zoom is like so bad. All right, so you can kind of see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, doesn't really do much. Okay. What's up? How's the SPR doing? Let me see here. Hold on. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I have to look at it. I know what you're trying to get at, Major Swifty, is that he's been pumping it out of there. But here is this. You can see that right around March of 2020, we reached a peak of 12,796,000 barrels per day. And right now we are sitting at 13,214 barrels per day. So that's insane. We have absolutely bounced back. The Strategic Petroleum Reserves, let me check on that real quick. Let's see. Strategic. Oops. Oh, fudge. Check out the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. Let's see. Trying to find the link for it. Isn't it? I don't know if it's going to be. So it looks like we're down a little bit, but it's been going down since 2020. Let me pull it up here. This is saying U.S. ending stocks of crude oil and SPR. So let's go back here. So you can see here right around, we were kind of steady and it went down, but it's starting to go back up. So right here, this year, it's starting to go back up. But yeah, we took out a chunk of it, which was probably at the bottom. So we 372,593. So we took out about a couple 100,000 ish. Well, more than a couple 100,000, but yeah. A big reason for inflation is a shutdown of the pipeline. I don't believe that that's the reason why. It's this idea that inflation is somehow tied to oil. I get why. But there's a whole lot of reasons for inflation. And I think the largest one, if we're going to talk about this, I did a video on this. Long story short of it is we passed 3 stimulus bills during COVID. We passed one in March of 2020, which was about, I think, $2 trillion. All said and done. We then passed another stimulus bill in December of 2020. And then Biden passed another stimulus bill in January of 2021. So what I think happened is a couple of things. I think that in March, we saw a lag. Okay. Things are still shut down between March and August, right? All of a sudden, people started going back to work. They started going back out buying stuff. And what ended up happening was you had a crap ton of wages that were sky high, where prices were way down here. And because of the unemployment assistance that was given out in the March bills, because of all the stimulus checks that were sent out, because of all these added extra money coming in, money supply going up, we then saw another stimulus bill passed in December that wasn't wholly necessary. Okay. All of a sudden, now there's even more money. And now in January, Biden passes another stimulus check, which I was still against, by the way. But because of those two stimulus bills being packed together at such a, and I'll show you this on the chart, it skyrocketed inflation. So let's look at this right here. I'll show you all here on the CPI numbers so that you guys can see this CPI month over month. Now remember, it's March, December, and let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is it. Where are we? Okay. So remember what I said, it was March and December. So let me go ahead and change this here. So look right here. So remember what I said, here is where the CPI numbers are just going down, like almost to 0%. I think we even had deflation probably at one point. And you can see right here is when we passed that first stimulus bill. Okay. Now look at what happened. April kind of went down. All of a sudden it starts to rebound a little bit, right? We're like, okay, things are starting to steady. They're kind of starting to go up right here. There's when that second stimulus bill gets passed. And then here's when the third stimulus package gets spent. And then what happens a couple of months later? All of a sudden, it just starts going all the way up. Well, I say all of a sudden, this is from, it looks like from February 21 all the way up to June of 2022. And I believe the Inflation Reduction Act was passed right around that peak. IRA passed. Let's see. It was passed effective August 16th of 2022. So that would have been right around here. Let me pull it back up. Right around here. Oh, right there. So right around here is when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed. It was already kind of going back down a little bit, and then it just bottomed. And now we're back to basically pre-pandemic levels. You could say that. It's at 2.5, right around the pre-pandemic area. Right around here was 2.1, 2.3. So we're still a little bit higher than normal, but look at January 2020, 2.5. At this point, the closure of the pipeline has been baked in any future for oil and gas. Yeah. The massive deficit is good if the world is on the brink of war. It is for a fact the pipeline is not a debate. The day the pipeline was shut down is when gas prices skyrocketed and the domino effect leading to shit costs in an arm and leg at the source zone. What you're trying to do is correlation. Correlation does not equal causation. Just because, I mean, I could sit there and say I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, right? There was a whole lot of reasons why inflation happened, right? I believe the primary driver of that was government spending, in which Donald Trump absolutely passed a ton. Do I think that some of that had a lot to do with the gas prices going up? Sure, absolutely, right? Matter of fact, I'll show y'all gas prices as well. Average gas price by year. So let's go over here. Let's bring it into 2020. And this about falls in line with inflation. So this obviously kind of falls in line with inflation. We saw around 2020, here's December 19, it was about $2.55 a gallon. And then over here, it got up to about $2.81 a gallon in March of 2021. And then right over here, it got all the way up to $4.92 or $4.93 per gallon. And now we're starting to see it go back down a little bit. We're at $3.38 per gallon. But I say this, they have weekly history. That's pretty cool. Look at that. That's wild. Yeah. So I go back to, and I've always found gas prices. I don't know. Maybe it's because like we are getting more wages. And so for me, I kind of feel like most people, when we look at gas prices, $1 increase, what does that come out to? Like an extra $10 for gas, maybe a week. So you're looking at maybe $40 extra. Maybe it's a privilege taken of mine to say $40, is a month. extra in gas is a lot, but I think our wages have far outpaced that. That's fair. No, Major Swifty, that's fair. If we're talking about diesel and things like that, that's valid. It adds up. No, that's valid. I mean, I saw sub $2 before COVID. Well, you may have saw sub $2, and that's certainly possible. But you can see here, right here was about the low. Oh, you can't see it. The lowest. Yeah, it's subjective. Right here, it was $1.77 on average at April of 2020. I don't know what the lowest would have been under Trump. Maybe here, March 14th of 2016, but anything over that was all $2. Even at the lowest point here, it was still about $2.22, $23. So you may have saw some sub $2, but it would have been, it would have had to have been like, I would even say anything like here, even the $1.78 on February 29th, I would have said that would have been due to Obama's policy. Just like I would sit here and say that some of the prices we've seen going here where it's rising, I think is due to some of Trump's policy. I think there's a certain amount of time after a president gets into office that there are some policies that the previous administration owns. And it just depends on the policy, right? But anyways, so there you go. Y'all got y'all's economic talk, okay? We talked about the economy a little bit more and earlier than I wanted to, but there we go. Let's go into the next one here. Where are some of our other topics? Okay, so now we're going to get into some of Trump's recent rallies. This is the segment about Trump rallies, okay? There is a lot of stuff going on at these Trump rallies, a lot of wild claims being made. So let's go ahead and watch a few of these. He's done like 3 or 4 rallies in the past, couple of days. And it's so funny to me because a lot of these rallies are taking place in what looks like a high school gymnasium. It's kind of weird, but let's go ahead and watch this.
Under Bush, they took a lot. And remember this about Russia. Under Bush, they took a lot. Under Biden and Barack Hussein Obama, has anyone ever heard of him? Barack Hussein, a lot of people say he's actually running the country right now. I don't think so. I don't think so. But
I have heard a lot of crazy things. I have heard, that the establishment is what's running the government. I have heard the shadow government is running the government. I've heard a lot of crazy things. That has not been at the top of my list, admittedly. I have never heard this claim that Barack Obama is sitting behind the scenes running Biden's administration. That's a new one, but it gets better. Let's listen to this clip.
And I said, I'll do it, but I'm begrudgingly, 10 minutes. I don't really want to do it because he doesn't like me. I guess I don't like anybody that doesn't like me, I'll be honest. When they don't like me, I don't like them, okay? Sounds childish. Look at the wall. Mr. Wall, stand up, please, Mr. Wall. When they don't like me, Lee, I don't like them. That's the way it is. Call.
And so, yeah, I don't like anybody that doesn't like me. I'll be honest, sounds childish. When they don't like me, I don't like them. That's the way it is. Call it a personality defect. Yeah, and I put down here, in other words, he's not for all Americans, only those who vote for him. And it's a little hyperbolic, but it's the truth. We'll go into this next one. Rapid fire. Oh, you can't even see it. We'll go on to this next one.
A lot of people say the only reason the stock market's high is everyone thinks I'm going to win the election. I believe that's true. A lot of the biggest, smartest. Uncle Sam? Look, it's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is here. Do you agree?
They're saying the only reason he's doing well is because of him. This isn't necessarily true. Right now, we are seeing the result of what happens when the Fed rate goes down to down almost half a point. That is a sign of a strong economy. And so that is why the stock market is doing well. Why is it going down half a point? Because Biden and Harris have done an amazing job at reeling in inflation, doing real good at trying to bring back wages. In fact, wages for now have outpaced inflation. So That is why the stock market is doing so well. Literally double in a matter of, I saw it earlier, Horrid. I was trying to react to this stuff. Hell no, prices at the pump literally doubled in a matter of a few months, following shutdown of the pipeline. Literally went from like 190 USD in a few months later, was paying almost $5 a gallon. Okay, listen, regional things are going to happen. I don't know where you saw $5 a gallon. I'm going off of what is the easiest way for me to use a objective measure, which is the average gas price according to the EPI or EPA or whatever. So no one wants tariffs. Agreed. Tariffs are a bad thing, generally speaking. But yeah, so this idea that the stock market is doing well because of Donald Trump is not entirely true. It's actually not true at all. It's doing well mainly because of the Fed rate. And here's the fun one is this clip right here. And I'll give you a little backstory on this before we get into this. Give you a little backstory. The Teamsters Union came out with a poll. We'll show that poll in just a minute. And here is what they're saying.
And this is the
Oh, this
first
isn't
time
what they're
in
saying. This is Trump.
decades, just got endorsed by the rank and file members of the Teamsters, which I happen to think is amazing. And
This is the thing that bothers me to no end. Okay. Everyone cheering back here, clear, and you can tell that some of these, or probably most of these, maybe, are union workers. I didn't show you the video.
And
Right there.
this is the first time in decades, just
Watch
got
how they cheer.
endorsed by the rank and file members of the Teamsters, which I happen to think is
None of them. Whoa, I don't know what's going on over there. What's going on over there? But let me tell you something. They clearly have not seen the news, because if they did, they'd see that the Teamsters decide not to make 2024 presidential endorsement. And in fact, many of the individual chapters decided to take it upon themselves to go ahead and endorse Kamala Harris. So don't know where he's getting this from, because it's just not factual. This is a objective lie, once again, by Donald Trump. Everywhere there are reports of people paying over 7 and some say, okay, yeah, that's just wild and unfactual.
stuff that Google and
So here's another one. Same rally. These are all going to go in rally order here.
Facebook and all what they got caught cheating on the last election, the bad things they did, the 51 agents and all of the stuff, the laptop. Remember, it was Russia. It was Russia. No, it was Hunter, as we said. And they affected the election very much. It came out many points, 11 points, 12 points. But that's what we have. And we can never let that happen again. And I said, we're going to go after anybody that gets caught cheating on the election. We're going to go after them harder than anyone's ever been sought before. Because these people are really a threat. They are a threat to democracy.
Remember, this theme of a threat to democracy was what the Republicans and the right sat there and criticized the Democrats for their rhetoric. This is the rhetoric that everybody kept saying was leading to all these attempts. Okay. This is insane. The rhetoric on the right is just as bad as the rhetoric on the left. Okay. And in fact, I would argue it's far worse. Okay. I've heard commie. I've heard all these other things and threat democracy and everything else by the right. I'm taking a hardline stance. Hardline stance here. The rhetoric by the right is far worse than the left. Spare me the tears. Spare me the tears and the pearl clutching. Furthermore, what's amazing to me is that nobody sees how authoritarian it is that Donald Trump is saying anybody caught cheating, referring not to the voters or voter fraud, but because he's using this in reference to Facebook and all these other orgs. What he is saying here is that he's going to crack down. The government, when he says people got to understand this. When you hear Trump say he, that is him referencing the government. He wants to crack down by the government on these media companies. That's authoritarian. And yet they are all cheering it. They're eating it up. Ironically, they're eating it up, even though that is something that true socialists or communists would do, is trying to control the media. I will clutch my pearls if I want to. You can clutch them, Miss April. You get a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. Pearl pass. And I love this one, right? Progressive Victory put out a image showing SpongeBob saying wanted maniac. And, you know, I'm assuming that's Donald Trump. And this is just a real fun one.
If you're not successful this time, do you see yourself running again in 4 years?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so great. That's it. It's short, sweet, to the point. I love it. Because what it is she's basically saying, look, if you vote for me, you won't ever have to see Donald Trump again. That's it. That's the ad. I love it. What's the next one we got here lined up? So the next one we got is some pro-Russia and Iran propaganda by Donald Trump.
Specific question is, would you strengthen or modify any of these economic sanctions programs, particularly Russia, including the pipeline you mentioned?
Well, it's a great question. The problem with what we have with sanctions, and I was a user of sanctions, but I put them on and take them off as quickly as possible, because ultimately it kills your dollar and it kills everything the dollar represents, and we have to continue to have that be the world currency. I think it's important. I think it would be losing a war if we lost the dollar as the world currency. I think that would be the equivalent of losing a war. That would make us a third world country, and we can't let it happen. So I use sanctions very powerfully against countries that deserve it, and then I take them off. Because look, you're losing Iran, you're losing Russia. China is out there trying to get their currency to be the dominant currency, as you know better than anybody. All of these things are happening. You're losing so many countries because there's so much conflict with all of these countries that you're going to lose that, and we can't lose that. So I want to use sanctions as little as possible.
Sorry, that was boring. No, so in other words, he wants to lift sanctions from Iran and Russia. That is absurd. All that's going to do is fuel Putin and fuel his economy. What if Trump wins? What about if Trump wins? If Trump wins, then we're in some serious shit. Inflation's going to go through the fucking roof. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. If Trump wins, inflation's going to go through the roof. He's going to try to impose tariffs. But all that I see,
handle the truth.
Thank you so much, Soggy Bagels. I appreciate the follow. All according to his concept, exactly, his concept of a plan. He doesn't have a plan. His plan is I'm going to go on to the... Here's the thing. His plan is what he has been doing every single rally. He doesn't pay attention to his teleprompters near as much. He's clearly not paying attention to his advisors. He's not preparing for a debate. He is going to run the country like he's running Truth Social, and we'll get into that in a minute. He's going to run the economy on a whim. He wakes up, and whatever mood he's in, that's how he's going to run it. Whatever benefits him. And I didn't get into it, but we'll talk about it now. Look at what he's doing with Melania. Melania, and everybody keeps saying inflation is bad, this is bad. Donald Trump has RFK selling a green MAGA hat. Okay? He's selling a Trump coin for like $100. He's got Melania selling a Trump, or I think it's a Trump necklace, or a necklace, for $600. But we're in an inflation. We're doing so bad. Yet she wants to, they're trying to grift off of this. What it is Trump is going to do whatever he can that benefits himself. That's what's going to happen if Trump wins. Another add to the list of official Trump grifts. Exactly. Let's not forget any of the crypto stuff. Because I believe Trump has tried doing some of his own crypto things. Well, we know how the crypto stuff has gone. Anytime a celebrity is like, hey, man, I've got a crypto coin. Yeah, it doesn't end well. Kamala has nothing. She's done nothing in the past 4 years. People didn't even know who the hell she is. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. She has done quite a bit. In fact, she is a record breaker for how many tie-breaking votes that she has had to pass in Congress. And keep in mind, she was the tiebreaker for the Inflation Reduction Act. She has also gone overseas and has been the border czar. Now, you may sit there and go, the border czar. That border was crap. That wasn't her job. She has done quite a bit. She's advocated for the child tax credit back in, I believe, 2021 and 2022. Understand that the vice president is not the president, first and foremost. She is a spokesperson for the president, and she is the essential leader in Congress. That is what she is. And I would say, based on her job duties of being the spokesperson, of being the person who sits there and has to cast the tie-breaking votes, I'd say she's done pretty damn well. She's magically going to do stuff now. Again, she's not the president. She's the vice president. And as the vice president, based on what she in her limited capacity can do, has done an amazing job. Record tie-breaking votes cast by a vice president. I believe second to like Madison, who did 300 tie-breaking votes or something like that. Okay, so on to the next topic, which we were just talking about. Soggy Bagels mentioned about the Trump grift. Here is how Trump Media and Technology Group Corp are doing. They are not doing hot. They dropped 10 points in one day. So it's down to 12.15, and it has been dropping steadily since. While the economy is rising, Trump stocks are going down. Down, 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 down. And this one's a goldie.
Isn't it nice? Because isn't it nice, by the way, to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter? Isn't it nice? Because isn't it nice, by the way, to have a
president who doesn't need a teleprompter? No, I think this is the problem with Trump. I absolutely think this is the problem with Trump. Trump needs to read the freaking teleprompter. Read the teleprompter, Trump. If you want to win, stop going off script. If that's what you want to do, listen to your advisors. Listen to your advisors. Read the teleprompter. Stop going off script. All of your controversies have been because you go off script. But as somebody who wants Kamala to win, okay, go off. Go off, King. Go off. Don't read the teleprompter. Keep doing what you're doing, because this is how you're going to lose the election. This is how you're going to lose the election. You're not listening. You're not studying. Here's some more rhetoric, hateful rhetoric by Donald Trump. Remember, guys, tone down the rhetoric. We got to tone down the rhetoric. We've got to tone it down. Only to be followed by this.
And he's a radical left Democrat, and he's not too popular right now because they're going to take over a lot more than Aurora. They're going to go through Colorado, take over the whole damn state by the time they finish. Unless I become president, they won't last long. But Aurora is a...
Here we go. Now saying that the migrants are going to take over Colorado. They're just going to take it over based on one flawed story about this little tiny apartment complex that has had some issues. Okay. It's crazy how Kamala would be a disaster, even though it's Trump who wants 10 to 20% higher prices on imports. She has nothing that is even remotely as bad as that. Exactly. Exactly, Bob Marley. That's exactly it. And if you didn't think it was bad enough, this is an awesome little clip here.
The history of our country and the greatest regulatory cuts. We did so much. We gave you before the biggest tax hikes in the history of our country. And
he gave you the biggest tax hikes. Trump y'all. Trump gave y'all the biggest tax hikes. He admitted it. See right there, guys. Y'all like them tax cuts. Trump himself said it. Trump said it. He said we gave you the biggest tax hikes. I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. This one's a good one. Good one.
Here I am. We're leading in the polls. We're leading by a lot. We're leading by a lot. They said, "Oh, we don't have to worry about them." No, they have to worry about me. That's. Here I am. We're leading in the polls.
So, he's trying to sit there and say that he's leading by a lot. He's not. New polls just came out today showing that Kamala Harris is in the lead by 6 whopping points. And here's another one by Fox News.
Yeah. And now the child tax credit.
The child tax credit?
Yeah. President Trump started it, and then she upped it.
Trump did not start the child tax credit. Okay. Because she's referring to Vance, not Trump, first of all. And it was Kamala who started this.
She upped it, and the camo hats, and the tax on tips, and now crypto.
So A, that's not true.
Okay.
B, child poverty was cut in half when the Biden-Harris administration implemented the child tax credit and the Republicans got rid of it. If Tim Walz is as terrible and embarrassing as you guys think he is, why does he have a +7 favorability and JD Vance and Trump both have a -13? And Kamala's at +3. What's going on? What's going on with this loser with the clean air filter, right, that people seem to like?
Go off. That's exactly it. Okay, for anyone who's unaware, Kamala Harris was the first one to raise the child tax credit in 2021 with the American Rescue Plan. That one, she started first. The no tax on tips, I haven't done enough research to see who technically started it first. But I'll give that one to Trump. We'll give that one to Trump. But yeah, I thought that one was funny. Trump, JD Vance is so awkward and so unlikable compared to Tim Walz. Tim Walz is far more authentic. If I was stuck on the side of the road, this classic example, right? If I was stuck on the side of the road and I saw Tim Walz pull up or JD Vance pull up, who do I trust more to fix my car? Definitely not JD Vance. Definitely not. Now, if I was stuck on the side of the road and I needed legal issues, I may go to JD Vance. But yeah, no, I would not want JD Vance to pull up. I'd be like, well, shit, I'm going to need to get my car towed. Here's another one I think is really interesting. They brought this up. Kamala Harris shouting down with deportation at a 2018 parade. 2018, guys. We're really digging this up.
Up with education, down with deportation. Up with education, down with deportation. Up with education, down with.
So it's just going on and on about that. I don't see the big deal with this. It's 2018. Move on. So we're gonna get into some of this Mark Robinson drama. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm not too privy to all the ins and outs of Mark Robinson, but it's undeniable that Mark Robinson and JD Vance and Trump are all the same in the one. JD Vance has refused to say or condemn what's going on with Mark Robinson. Long story short, there have been leaked, or not leaked, but there have been usernames that look very similar to that of Mark Robinson on various websites, claiming that he is a black Fonzie. Okay, you can kind of fill that in. I would have Trump fix her car. I would not want Trump to fix her car. I think Trump wouldn't be able to even figure out how to get the freaking oil dipstick out of the engine. He'd be trying to figure out where it is, and he wouldn't be able to locate it. So another one is that it looks like a nonprofit was able to, I guess, in the state of Ohio, it might be it's Springfield, they're able to bring charges. But it's up to the DA to basically take them on. And it looks like Brian Krasson, the nonprofit, which I can't find down here. Oh, Haitian Bridge Alliance ended up bringing charges against Donald Trump and JD Vance, alleging disrupting public service, making false alarms, telecommunications harassment, aggravated menacing, and complicity. Look, I don't know if this is going to take legs. It would be nice, but to be honest with you, I think Trump already has a whole litany of legal issues to deal with outside of this one little thing. However, I will say it is abhorrent what has taken place. JD Vance has come out and said flat out that he did this hoax because he wanted to bring light to the issue. And I'm not a huge fan of that. You're not going to demonize immigrants just for your political gain. And this goes back to what he's done time and time and time again. And on that note about the Haitian stories, I'm going to take a hardline stance on this, guys. I have seen time after time after time after time after time where there have been town halls. Let me put it this way, okay? Let me put it this way. Any more town halls that I see come out of this and that MAGA perpetuates and just throws out there, okay? I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Why? Because Trump and Vance have decided to make this a national issue. So I can't trust a single fucking word that comes out of anybody's mouth unless there's one unless you can provide hardcore evidence. To this day, we have not seen one iota of evidence that there is actually something going on in Springfield, Ohio. So we've not seen that happen. So I don't want to hear it. Save me the tears. I don't believe a fucking word coming out of people's minds. Excuse my language. Because once this became a political issue, I cannot decipher between one or the other of which one's true and which one's false. In other news, we have, no, there's not, Horde. No, there's not. And you know what? You know what, Horde? Provide me the evidence. Provide me a link. I want to see this. Provide me the link. Provide me the link. Exactly, Bob Marley. Inflation being at 2% is exactly the target that they try to hit. That is known as like the gold standard of where you want to be in. That's the equilibrium of inflation. 2%. She did not lie about working at McDonald's. It's in fact, it's not been proven one way or the other whether or not it has or hasn't. Incoming Epoch Times article, left myself. Exactly, Soggy Bagels. That's exactly it. And it better be a damn good link for it if you're going to provide it. And if it's the one I think it is, I have looked at this through and through. So you better provide a good one. Or I'll make it high risk. Let's do this. You do it, or I give you a timeout. I'm not going to ban you. I'll give you a timeout. Link it or timeout. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. It's right now it's 8:40 my time. At 8:45, if you don't provide it, you're getting a timeout. I give you like a week-long timeout. Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people sitting here and demonizing these migrants, which have ironically, of all these things, Haitians came here under the TPS that was extended under Donald Trump. Link should be on, and I'll give it to him real quick. If he's not able to link it, I will link it. I'll make sure links are on. Miss April, Judgment Free Zone, somebody in there, post a link, just a test link. Let me go to Twitch and I'll activate it if it's not, to be fair. Let's see. Where are the links? It should be on moderation. Here it is. Okay, cool. Judgment Free Zone was able to do it. He's not even Prime or anything. So there you go. Appreciate Judgment Free Zone. I like the link you provided too. Let's see. What is this link? Oh, okay. You provided the traffic and road conditions in Haiti. Appreciate it, Judgment Free Zone. Appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, he should be able to link it. So because of me trying to sort through that, I am giving you an additional 5 minutes. So you have 8:47. Provide it or be timed out. Alrighty then. So it turns out that Judge Chutkan greenlit Jack Smith's 180-page bombshell brief full of evidence in Trump's DC criminal case, shutting down Trump's latest attempt to delay justice. Guys, why this is huge is because this is absolutely going to be released, and it is going to be so bad. And I put on Twitter, I said, look, if I were Trump, I'd be taking that debate right now. Trump needs this debate far more than Kamala does. Far more. Kamala doesn't need it. She just needs a spotlight. That's all Kamala needs. She's like, hey, look, just give me the camera. I'll fucking shine. Homie probably dipped already, probably. It's not hating. It's not hate. Haiti doesn't have road rules like we do. They drive out of the seat of their pants. It's a different culture is all. Oh, yeah, I got you, Judgment Free Zone. I drove, we went to, I went to the Bahamas one time, and it was wild. And it comes from a place of compassion too, right? It's like when you go to these countries, you feel a bit of compassion for their conditions and what they're going through. They're not coming here to just destroy America like Trump would like you to believe. That's just not the freaking case. That's just not the case. They're coming here to make their lives better. And all that Trump and the MAGA are doing are making their lives miserable. All they're trying to do is make a better life for their family. And now I want to have a little bit of a lighter note. It just so we have time on here. It is 8:44 my time, and I'm still. We got about another 2 minutes, or it's 7 is going to get a long time out. Here is Biden and something he was speaking at the UN. These are some of his wise words.
I made the preservation of democracy the central cause of my presidency. This summer, I faced a decision whether to seek a second term as president. It was a difficult decision. Being president has been the honor of my life. There's so much more I want to get done. As much as I love the job, I love my country more. I decided after 50 years of public service, it's time for a new generation of leadership to take my nation forward. My fellow leaders, let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power. It's your people.
Absolutely wise words by Biden there. And I think that's a super important thing to take in mind, is that there are some things that are far more important than power. There was actually a clip that was out there of Donald Trump getting booed or laughed at the UN Assembly. So keep that in mind of where Trump and Joe Biden lay. Joe Biden got a round of applause for that. And I think that based on, look, you can have your opinions about Joe Biden, but I think that when you look at what Joe Biden has accomplished and where he has come and how he has served his his country as a senator and as vice president and now president, you have to commend the guy. This man is in his 80s. He's ready to go and retire and be on the beach. Okay. But MAGA won't let him, right? MAGA's like, no, you can't go and rest on the beach. You're supposed to be 24/7 working, even though you're 80 something years old. No, Trump is putting Americans first, including you. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second, Slippery. Trump is only putting himself and himself only first, and then Americans. It's been widely known that Trump is not putting Americans first. Widely known for that. First space alien in a human suit, according to some folks, in dog parking. Yeah. What are people being fed these days for the president? The only way in which Biden was not relatively sedentary was international trips. He did a ton of them. Oh, look, Horde 7 provided a link. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yeah, let's see. Horde 7, you provided the absolute worst link. The absolute worst link. Why would you provide that link? Springfield students suffer collateral damage over anti-immigrant conspiracy theory. Schools had to shut down for multiple days after 33 separate bomb threats, and 2 universities moved classes online after threats of a shooting, one specifically targeting members of the Haitian community after baseless accusations that immigrants eating people's pets. What are you linking, Horrid? This is not evidence. I don't know what evidence the hell you are talking about. But the false allegations, I ought to ban you for being this dumb. I ought to ban you for being this dumb. Why would you provide this as evidence, as that is what people are doing? None of this is like what you would. Why? Oh my God. That's not evidence. That only proves my point. Thank you. Thank you for proving my point, Horrid. I appreciate it. I appreciate you providing me evidence so that I can show other people as evidence. Some other late breaking news. InfoWars to be liquidated and auctioned off in November, with U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez stating he will approve the auctions. And just like the Titanic, it's going down. So there it is. I provided 2. Oh, you provided 2. Okay, let's check out the CBS News one. I guarantee you the CBS News one is not going to help you either way. And before I click it, I will click this link. I'm going to give you a chance. Does this prove your point or not? And if it doesn't prove your point, then I'm going to give you a timeout. I have no problem doing it. Let's see. Said on Sunday that the cats and dogs think referring to baseless claims that Haitian immigrants are eating pets. And Springfield, Ohio has gotten way more coverage than real world impacts of immigration. He argued there are literally people moving in by thousands. In the case of Springfield, Charleroi, and Pennsylvania, you know that's a 4,000 person city that has 2,500 migrants. In Springfield, as September Representative David former police chief in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine, a Republican, also say there have been no credible reports that pets are being stolen. Guess what, Horrid? You just earned yourself a timeout. Congratulations. I hope you feel good. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. There you go. You're timed out, buddy. Have fun. You know it won't prove it. Yeah, exactly. Soggy didn't prove shit. How do you reconcile the dramatic rate cut we just saw with an amazing economy? Powell certainly tried to. How do you reconcile the dramatic rate cut? I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say. So that's about it. There's not much else going on. Interest rates were cut dramatically, which indicates concern over an economic downturn. I have never seen rate cuts be an indication of a concern over an economic downturn, Deep Delta Blue. I've never heard of that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm economically illiterate. That's certainly a possibility. Exactly, Soggy. Exactly. It just disproves it. I'll look into it. Let me see this real quick. Rate cuts signaling economic downturn. Let me check this out. Let's check out this link that we got here. Fed cuts rate signaling end to its inflation fight with a sizable half-point rate cut. Let's see, downturn. If you wanna, I'm not gonna do what I did to Horrid with you, Deep Delta, but if you want to all right, let me look at this. Let me look at these rate cuts. Fed rates by year. I don't know if this is going to give me what I'm looking for here. You know what? Let me just look this up. Are Fed rate cuts associated with recession? Five takeaways. This is CBS. Let's look at Powell's. I'm trying to Powell's conference, and I go, okay. You know what? We can solve all this by just going to Powell's conference. All right, let's look at Powell's conference rate cut transcript. That's what we'll do, and we'll look at what it is that he was saying. Was it July 31st? Was that the most recent one? I feel like it was September. It was like 6 days ago. When was that? That would have been the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about the 19th. Let's do September. Here we go. All right. It's a long transcript. So this doesn't exactly prove what you were saying, Deep Delta, but it Powell here. I'm going to share my web source. Powell saying we are committed to maintain our economy strength by supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to our 2% goal. This decision reflects our growing. Here we go. Right here. Look at this. With an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength and the labor market can be maintained in a context of moderate growth and inflation moving sustainably down to 2%. We also decided to continue reducing our security holdings. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace. GDP rose at an annual rate of 2.2% in the first half of the year, and available data points to a roughly similar pace of growth this quarter. Growth of consumer spending has remained resilient, and investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from its anemic pace last year. In the housing sector, investment fell back in the second quarter after rising strongly in the first. Okay, the Q&A. Let me see if the Q&A is in this. Let's see if the Q&A is in here somewhere. Oh, look, there you go. This is like really early on. Let's go. Let me look up recession. I'm gonna start with recession because I feel like that's gonna be a good see rising layoffs. If that were to happen, wouldn't the committee already be too late in terms of avoiding recession? So that's our plan, of course, has been to begin to recalibrate. And as you know, we're not seeing rising claims, we're not seeing rising layoffs. We're not seeing that, and we're not hearing that from companies. But that's something it's getting ready to happen. So we're not waiting for that because there is thinking that the time to support the labor market is when it's strong and not when we begin to see the layoffs. There's some lore on that, so that's the situation we're in. We have in fact begun the cutting cycle now. We'll be watching, and that'll be one of the factors that we consider. What's the other next one for recession? Is the economy more vulnerable to a shock now that it could tip into a recession? He said, I don't think so. As I look, well, let me look at it this way. I don't see anything in the economy right now suggests that, like, look at this. Look at this. This is blank point right here. This right here says it all. Bob Marley. I think this says it all right here, guys. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Is the economy more vulnerable to a shock now that could tip it into a recession? I don't think so. As I look, well, let me look at it this way. I don't see anything in the economy right now that suggests that the likelihood of a recession, of a downturn is elevated. Okay, I don't see that. See, it goes to the salary, you see inflation. You see growth at a solid rate. You see inflation coming down. You see a labor market that's still very solid level. So I don't really see that. No. Thank you. What's the next one about recession? Oh, that was it. So that's the only two talks about a recession. So it looks like it's everything he's indicating is pretty strong. Look, guys, I appreciate having two economists in here because I'll tell you one thing. I'm not an economist. I try to go about as best as I could. I am an accounting major, and I am almost done graduating with my accounting degree, but that's different. Yeah, look, listen, I'll tell you guys this. Okay, let me tell you a little something about economics, all right? I love that I got two economists in here duking it out. Why? Because I'm not an expert in economics, okay? I try my best with what I have and what I can kind of correlate. Economics was not one of my strong suits when I was taking those classes. In fact, the funny thing is I'm actually taking international. Okay, this one's international finance. But I'm taking an international finance class. I tried taking international. I think it was international economics. Hated it. There you go, Rompy Kitty. Exactly. Economy is when money does stuff and makes me poor. Consumer debt is rising. I can check some of this. So let's see. I think consumer debt is rising. But the problem with that, if I'm not mistaken, is the question that I would have is where is that consumer debt rising? Right? Is the consumer debt rising for household goods, like, for example, food, or is it rising for, luxury goods? And I believe the labor market is weak. Yeah, I'd have to look. Let me look into consumer debt categories. I want to say student loans are a part of that, actually. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like consumer debt. Oh, I'd have to look at it. I don't want to spend all this time on stream going over this. But I feel like it was in student loans and health. Mortgage failures? Man, you're throwing some things that I'm having to look on the fly, and it's so hard to do, and I've got very limited time. Mortgage failures on the rise. Let's look at this. Despite the decline in rates in the robust economy that characterizes for the fourth quarter, the Federal Reserve's pursuit of lower inflation has proven to be an obstacle. When is this? This is April of this year, so it's a little outdated. Mortgage delinquencies in 60 plus days past due. Delinquencies increased by 16% year over year as consumers grapple with evolving macroeconomic challenges. So it looks like, here, I'm going to share my page with you guys. So it looks like it's been going up for quite a while. With roughly 84 million mortgages active in the U.S., according to data from LendingTree, that would mean about 1 million Americans are more than 60 days past due on their mortgages. While that may seem alarming to some, it isn't nearly as bad as what happened in the aftermath of the Great Financial Crisis in 2008, according to Michael Ranieri. We're still in a pretty good spot, especially when you're looking at 60 days past due. So it has inched up a little bit, but it's still not come back to what would be considered pre-GFC or probably in pre-pandemic. So it looks like this isn't even like that crazy from what I just read. I just like how fast foods cost me more than going to Applebee's. Yo, absolutely, Rompy Kitty. Hey, this is the thing too. Let's look. Let me show y'all guys the CPI numbers real quick, okay? Because I actually find these numbers to be pretty fascinating. This is something that's a little bit easier to kind of like chew on if you're just like a normie who's like, hey, I don't know jack crap about economics. Can you just like explain this in layman's terms? Let me go ahead and show you guys some interesting stuff. So this is August CPI numbers, and this is 12-month percentage change. So this is 12 months. Check this out. Motor vehicle insurance is up 16%. But if you look at these two, fuel oil and gasoline are down by a combined 22%, but the fuel oil is down by 12 and the other one's down by 10. And this is the thing I think is interesting is like the CPI consists of basically all of these things. And so I think it's interesting to me that like motor vehicle insurance has really been, in my opinion, why? If this thing was coming down, all in all, these aren't terrible numbers. If you look at this, cereal and bakery goods are down 0.3%, still pretty high. Meats and poultry are up by 3%, not the greatest, but not bad. Dairy is only up by 0.4%. If we look at the ones where food away from home, look at this. Limited service meals and snacks, 4% up. Full service meals and snacks is up by 3%. And then issues I'm involved in, labor market and employment has been absolutely horrible the past 2 years. I don't know if it's been, what's up, Prologue, by the way? I don't know if it's been absolutely horrible. I know the labor market right now is pretty tight because of an election season going on. I'm not saying they were wrong to do so, but tellingly, Powell indicated the board was very divided on the size of the cut. It was 11-1. Only Bowman wanted 0.25. Damn, Bar Marley coming to the facts. Look, I'll let y'all duke it out. Here's where I'm at, guys. I'm more of like, I'm not an econ guy. I would refer to a Kano boy on some of those econ things. There's a few other econ guys that in the influencer space. I'm trying to get into it, guys, and I'm trying to learn more. But let's be real honest, economics can be kind of boring if you can't break it down into simple in layman's terms, right? When you get into like all these little different nuances, it's kind of hard. Because if something skyrockets and drops a little, but it still skyrockets at some point, so little does, but it still skyrocket at some point, so little doesn't negate that. Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I've got to start wrapping it up. I called into a show once like 2 years ago. Oh, nice, Bob Marley. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I need to get more into econ, but let's be real, econ's kind of boring. Unless that's your niche subject. My main thing is I'm just really trying to get the news out to everybody and let everybody know kind of what's going on. Give them my takes, give them my kind of limited takes. You know what, Horrid? My timeout apparently doesn't work. Okay, my timeout apparently doesn't work. I'll let you get by with a limited timeout. I don't know why the hell the timeout only limited you like 30 minutes, but consider this like the last warning. Please make sure the next time it'll be a ban. Provide reasonable sources that back up your stance. So anyways, guys, I'm going to get off, but let's do this. Okay. Thank you, Bob Marley. I appreciate for you to be an econ guy telling me that I know quite a bit. And that's just the surface. I could go on and on about the profit and loss thing. That's my key thing. I'm big. I'll tell you this, Bob Marley, before I go and before you go, I will say this. When it comes to like business acumen, that's my strong suit. When it comes to like macroeconomics, where it's like trying to understand all these different trends and stuff, that's when I struggle a little bit. When it comes down to like analyzing profit and loss statements, why businesses profits may be doing well, how to analyze financial statements, things like that. That's where my strong suit is.
Handle the truth.
Bob Marley, thank you so much for following, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to log off. But here's what I want you guys to do. If you are watching me on YouTube, please hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. And if you are on my Twitch, please hit that follow button. If you are on Twitter, hit that like button. And please be sure to follow me on Twitter. I post daily on TikTok. I want to make this known. If you are on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok. That is where you will see me post every single day. YouTube as well. I post shorts every single day, but there's only limited amount. I only post about like 1 or 2 of my TikToks to YouTube. Okay. So follow me on there, guys. I hope to see you guys next time. We are streaming Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are streaming the Political Compass. That is where we have reasonable people come on to have reasonable conversations. And at the end of the show, we do viewer call-ins. So you can call in, we can have a conversation and things like that. So that is the end of my advertisements. You guys have a great night. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you for everyone who followed. You guys have an amazing night. I will see you.